G'day guys, my name's Jared. I'm here to demonstrate here today how to use technical analysis to determine when and where a market may change in direction. This can be used for any markets, any financial market, so Forex, currency trading, stocks, or even crypto. So first of all, I want to share my screen. This is Bitcoin. So I'll show NASDAQ first, which is the top 100 tech stocks in America. America runs most of the economy. So we'll look at that first. We'll start on the weekly. So we'll get our weekly levels out. Straight away, I can see a level here where it was tested, it pushed out, and now we've come back down, and now we've actually successfully pushed off this level. So this here would be our weekly level. Weekly. And for now, I'll put this up here as well. Now we want to jump ahead and go into the smaller time frames. So now this is where we can see our levels on our smaller time frames. So there's a level here. We pushed through, broke through this level, successfully tested again, tested it one more time before we come up here, made new highs, broke back down this level, come back up, and then unsuccessfully tested it and pushed back down again. We pushed back up to that same level, and then that's when we followed through and came all the way back down to our weekly support. This would be our weekly support as we determined before on the weekly time frame. As you can see now, we're approaching back up to the same level where we saw this significant rejection. So in this zone here, we could expect to see some high volatility in the market. Add one more thing into this chart, which is a resistance, a trend resistance. So in this case, it would be a downtrend resistance. But as you can see, it is now broken. It has found a level of support, which just happened to be the weekly, and it is now since pushed out with increasing volume, which indicates that it's a successful break, and it does have actually some momentum behind the move. However, now, obviously, like I said before, we are approaching this level, the significant resistance level here. So it is very likely that we're going to see a pullback to some description. Come back to a previous level here, possibly this level. So even come back down to here before we even try and come up here. I don't see it likely that we break through this level here straight away. I would expect to see a recovery. So at the moment, all in all, NASDAQ is approaching significant resistance. So it's going to be quite volatile in the next few weeks. Moving over to the S&P 500. So once again, we'll start on the weekly. This is our COVID levels here. So this would be our weekly level, pushed up, successfully tested again here. Same again, same as the NASDAQ. Generally, they look similar because most of the NASDAQ companies are actually in the S&P 500 because the global economy is run on tech. So tech does move most of the market. So same again, this would be our weekly level. Move this up here for now. Drop down to the daily as before. Now we can see our daily levels. So I can see a level straight away here. So we had some volatility through this area. We finally broke the level and successfully tested it before we pushed up and made new highs. We come back down, we tested this area again, we pushed back up, and it was sort of a dead cat bounce before we broke all the way back down and broke this level here. We pushed back up to the same level, and we saw a rejection, and we pushed back all the way back down to our weekly support here. So this would be our daily level. As you can see now, the same again, we are approaching this daily level. So as NASDAQ is approaching daily, like our daily resistance, and the S&P 500 is also approaching their daily resistance, the next few weeks are likely to be volatile, whether it's going to be a significant rejection down or if it's going to be a significant pump up. Whatever it may be, it is very likely that the move is going to be quite large and have a lot of momentum behind it. Once again, we'll do our downtrend resist. So this was our high. We pushed down to a support and we pushed back up. That's where we will make our next touch. So this would be our, let me just mark this downtrend. Yep. So until we realistically break this level here, this downtrend resist, it is still considered bearish. So we have quite a ways to go. And even if we do manage to break this level here, and test here, we still have to break this. So until that happens, generally speaking, if we're in a downtrend, we're making the price is getting lower and lower. So until that trend is broken, I don't see it going up, returning to bull market just yet. Not until that happens. That's the first, a break in trend is the first indication that there is going to be a trend change. And then there's other strategies and other things you can use to determine whether it's a successful trend direction change. But for now, we're approaching this significant level of resistance. So same again as the NASDAQ, it is very likely that we're going to see a pullback to some level before we manage to break this. And we've had quite a significant run here, decreasing volume. So it is running out of steam. The momentum is running out of steam. And when the momentum runs out of steam and approaches a significant level, a resistance level, generally speaking, that is a recipe for a pullback. Price come back down a little bit to pick up more buyers to move price back up again. But that's maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe in a week or two, we might know the answer from that. So that was the NASDAQ before. That was the S&P 500. This is the S&P 500. So next I'll move to the dollar index, the US dollar index. I'll look at the weekly chart because it looks a little bit better. But in this case, you can see this is just like a global chart you can use to indicate, because obviously, like I said before, America runs most of the global economy. So looking at how strong the US dollar is going can give you a pretty good indication as to how the market is traveling in general. When you see prices increasing, that means more people are willing to just hold their dollar and not so much go out and invest and spend and buy things, because it means more people are becoming fearful of the global economy in the state that it's in, and which is the case. We have COVID, we have wars and stuff going on, so a lot of people are more likely to hold on to their money, where not as much to go out and spend things. And generally that means the more and more that happens causes less and less spending, which eventually slows down an economy, which can have its own negative impacts. But for now, we can just see that the US dollar index is rising quite significantly. So that's one formula we can use into our analysis in the whole general aspect of all the markets to indicate what might happen in the future. So after all those are done, NASDAQ, S&P 500, and the Dixie, the US dollar index, we'll move on to Bitcoin. So we'll mark out our weekly levels here. So we have a weekly level all the way down here. We tested here, tested. We haven't actually come back down to test this level as support yet. We sort of just, well, on the weekly time frame anyways, we broke this level and we haven't actually returned to this level. This is at around 12K. So I'll write down weekly. And I'll move this up to, yeah. So this is our weekly support, weekly resistance. So same as before, we'll come down to, actually, there's another weekly level here. Just put that there. It's another weekly level. And then we're going to jump down to the daily. So as you can see, once we come to this level, it got really volatile. It got after this significant drop here, the market was shattered. A lot of people were fearful. So the market realistically was really scared as to buy or sell. So nothing really happened over this whole period here. We eventually saw a result, which was a significant push down again. Generally, that's what happens when people are fearful. Generally, the market makers move in and try and pull some tricks, which is what happened here, and the market come tumbling down again. But we'll add in some daily levels. So I'll just move this slightly to here. So this is our weekly level. So now we've got daily levels. So at the moment, we have a daily level here, which we've tested a couple of times. And our next level that we're going to touch is this weekly here. There's not really anything until we get to this level, which is around 30K. But that's not saying it's going to go from where we are now to 23K to 29K. That's not how it works. Once again, we'll do our downtrend resistance since we are in a downtrend. So just let me do it. Downtrend. So same as what the S&P 500 was, until we break this downtrend here, we are considered still bearish. And it has been because you can visually see price heads down, comes up a little bit, weak recovery, move down, weak recovery, move down, weak recovery. It's likely, very likely, that either this level or this level, if we manage to make it up to 29K, will see us head back down, even to this other weekly level down here at 12K. It's very likely. But until this level here is broken, this downtrend resist, that's what I'm guessing is going to happen. Let me just do a little bit more analysis here. Button. So this was essentially one move. So this was a large time scale move down. Then we had weak price action, weak moves up. So we had like probably 2-3 months of moving down. And then we had another 2-3 months of essentially going sideways. We came up 20%, but we saw almost a 50% drop here. So we came back up, and then that's when we found a level, which was here. So this is probably a daily level. Daily level right here. Didn't forget to put this in before. Approached this daily level, and then that's when we saw price come down again. We floated around here for a bit, and then we finally fell out and pushed back down to our weekly level. We floated around here. We've already tested this level, this 30K level, for over a year. This happened over a year ago. Got tested. It tested here again. We saw a massive wick come all the way down. Buyers snatched up all the orders down here, these low prices below 30K. And then that's when we saw sideways price action. That was when the market was extremely fearful. And then market makers sort of played their games and trapped people in positions that were not going to be good. And then we saw the price move down again, down to another level of support. So at the moment, I'm seeing the same thing as what I said before. We're seeing a large scale move down, weak recovery, large scale move down, weak recovery, large scale move down, weak recovery. So wherever this may end here, whether we come to this level here, I'm expecting it to push back down again. Maybe even to just to this level here, to this 18K where we've stopped previously. But our next real support is down here at 12K, which is our weekly support. There's a couple more levels here on the daily level, but our strongest support is actually at 12K. So I'm not saying we will see 12K, but that's our strongest level so far. So we have a level here, which is our daily. That's daily. So this is what I'm expecting. This is what I'm seeing. We have strong move down, weak recovery, strong move down, weak recovery, strong move down, weak recovery. Wherever this may end up, it's likely that when we get to this level here, this downtrend resist, it's going to trigger a move down. It's more likely for that to happen than the trend to break. So, but apart from that, like, I've been studying the markets and technical analysis for over 12 months now. I've learned a lot. There's still a lot more to learn. It's a journey. You know, record everything that you do, every trade that you enter, everything that happens, always learning. There's always more stuff out there to learn. I have a good community. Like I have a good bunch of mates in the community as well. I had the best education that there was available to me. So this was the result of that. So if you want to know any more about how to use technical analysis, just message me. But apart from that, have a good week, guys.